What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's REI Deal Breakdown, which stands for Real Estate Investing Deal Breakdown. I am Greg Helbeck, and my goal is to provide as much content through social media as possible within reason. So on this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about a rental property that I bought back in 2020 because there's a lot of lessons that I can pull out from this video that can help the listeners. So if you're new to this content, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you can please subscribe to my channel. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers within 3 months. So if you're watching on YouTube and you get value from this video, you'll probably get value from my other videos or the ones that I've already made. So subscribe, please, and also give it a thumbs up. Smash that like button, as all the YouTube gurus say. And if you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook, if you can please like this video and share it with other people. Share it on your story, share it on your posts or your feed or whatever. That's how we get this message out. We don't do paid traffic here. We just do the organic thing because that's what I know how to do. So anyway, on this week's video, if you're not familiar with me, by the way, I've bought over 100 houses since 2016. I've done every exit strategy you could think about except for subject twos and I think that's pretty much the only thing I've never done before. But anyway, besides subject twos, I've done pretty much any type of real estate deal and lease options. I've not done subject to or lease options. But anyway, done a lot of deals. I have a lot of experience. And my goal is to provide valuable content on this channel so you can take some nuggets from this and apply it in your business if you're getting started, or if you are still in the business and you're doing deals consistently. You can learn from my lessons and hopefully add some money to your bank account or some rentals to your portfolio. So this 22 Spruce Peak Road, Middletown, New York, look it up if you want. I bought this property sight unseen in 2020. I think I bought the property October 1st, 2020, because I remember actually going to that closing. And it was turning fall in New York. So anyway, the way the deal came through was actually direct mail, and this is a crazy-ass story. The seller sent me direct mail. So I sent the seller a postcard, and then she sent me a letter in the fucking mail saying that she's interested in selling her house, which is hilarious. And I actually wasn't even intending to look at the letter. I happened to going through some mail one day, and I saw like some weird handwritten letter, and she was like, "Hey, Greg, I got your mailer, and I want to sell." And she's like, email me, and I emailed her, and we ended up making a deal at $65,000, and she wouldn't let me inside the property. She wouldn't let me see it. She's like, you got to take it with the tenants. You got to buy it sight unseen. I said, listen, at this number that we agreed to, as long as it's not burning down, I don't care. I'll do it. So I took it down, sight unseen. I used a hard money loan to finance the deal. I think they gave me $50,000. I bought it for $65,000. So after closing costs and all that bullshit, I was in the thing for about $20,000 of my own money. Bought the property, and immediately I ran into the tenants, and I went in to introduce myself, and we ran into some issues. So the problem with this property that was really the main reason, the main reason she sold to me at a discount, was that she had tenants in there for like over 20 years, and they were paying $950 a month. I'm going to say that one more time. This is a 3-bedroom townhouse in Middletown, which is a hot area in Orange County. She was letting them stay there for $950 a month. And market rent on those units, if they're renovated, is like over $2,000 a month. This house needs some work, but it's in decent shape. It's in total rentable shape. And she was just renting this thing for way too cheap, and she didn't want to deal with the tenants. She didn't want to kick them out. So she's like, I'll just have you deal with my problem, and I'll get rid of this thing. And she lived in Virginia, so she just didn't want to really deal with the property. So introduced myself to the tenants, and I said, hey, I'm not going to kick you out right away, but obviously the rent you're paying right now is really cheap. What do you plan to do? And I said, what are your plans? And they were like, well, we want to get out of here. We want to go somewhere else and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I made them an offer to leave after 6 months. They didn't take the offer, and they were not paying more in rent. So I unfortunately had to go to hire an attorney and begin the process of doing a holdover eviction. So we ended up doing a holdover eviction. And they got an attorney. I had an attorney. It started to get expensive, and I actually refinanced the property in the process. So I got all my money out. I think I refinanced the property for $100,000. So I put about $20,000 in my pocket after everyone was paid off, and I pretty much had all house money at that point. I had all my cash out, so it was really pretty much free money at this point. So I knew I had to get these tenants out. So they ended up getting an attorney involved, and what we ended up agreeing to was that the tenants were going to start paying $1,300 a month for the first 6 months. We signed a 6-month lease. And then if they're not out by April 1st, which actually ironically is today, ironically the day I make this video, if they're not out by April 1st, 2022, then the rent is automatically going to go up to $1,800 a month in perpetuity until they leave. So that was the deal that we made. So basically at this point where we're at in the deal is I bought the I did the BRRRR strategy, but I haven't rehabbed it yet. I have the money in a bank account to rehab the property from the bank. But anyway, they're paying me $1,800 a month right now. And right now, I'm cash flowing well on that thing. It's making about $600 a month in profit after all the bills are paid. Actually, probably about $500 a month because I have a sewer bill. But anyway, it's making cash flow. It's making about $500 a month, and the tenants are paying almost market rent. I mean, the property does need some work, so I mean, if you take that into account, it's pretty much market rent. And for the most part, it's a decent little rental property, right? So at the end of the day, what is the lesson that I want to impart onto you from this video? Number one, if you buy a property at a deep discount and there's a tenant inside, there's usually a reason the seller is selling it to you that cheap. In this scenario, the tenant or the seller just didn't want to deal with the tenant. They didn't want to deal with the resistance of doing an eviction. At the time when I bought it, there was a moratorium on eviction, so you couldn't even evict him if you wanted to. The tenants were probably giving her trouble and she didn't want to deal with it, and she knew there was an easy way out by selling it to me. So I ended up picking the property up at a great price. I bought it for $65. It's worth about $175 right now. If it was renovated to the nines, it'd be selling at about $200. But I bought the thing for $65 with a hard money loan, and then I refinanced with a credit union, Heritage Financial, for $100. So I still have about $75,000 in equity in this property, and I have a loan on the property for 15 years. It's a fully amortized 15-year loan at 2.9%. So in actually 14 years now, because it's been a year, the thing will be free and clear, and it'll probably be worth over $300,000, most likely, considering where the market is right now. So to me, it's just a recipe to build wealth. You stack a couple of these up every few months and you have, 45, 50 of them. And next thing you know, you're worth 20 million bucks in 30 years or whatever. So if you're out there and you're flipping houses, I encourage you, once you have some cash and you have some experience, I would then get involved in rental properties. If you're doing the BRRRR strategy, which is what I did on this one, you really got to know what you're doing. You got to know how to time things right. You got to know how to get the financing lined up. You got to know what lender to use. So I think the BRRRR strategy is definitely more of an advanced strategy. I think you should definitely get started with doing some wholesale deals and some flips before you start jumping into BRRRR deals, unless you have someone you can partner with. In my opinion, I could be wrong. But anyway, hopefully you got some value from this video. Buy rental properties. If you're buying a property really cheap from a landlord, most likely there's a reason for that, and you're going to have to deal with some tenants. So nonetheless, it's a great property. I'm happy about it, and hope it continues to be successful, knock on wood. So hope you got value from today's video. Once again, if you did get value from today's video, if you're on YouTube, if you can like this and please subscribe. Once again, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers within the next 3 months, within the next 90 days, same thing. So if you subscribe, it would mean a lot. You'll get notified when we put out new content, and then you can, just follow me along my journey as a real estate investing educator. I can't believe I'm saying that now because I always said, I don't put out content, but hey, you got to give to get. Anyway, and then if you're watching this on Instagram, if you can like it and then share it with other people, or you're watching this on Facebook, you can like it and share it with other people. It would mean a lot to me, and I will see everyone on the next REI Deal Breakdown. Take care.